Hey guys, just wanted to update you on my life, and right now I'm going through a really bad breakup. I know that I told you before that we were breaking up and seeing other people, but with Kyle and I, it's this push and pull. It's like when I pull away, he pushes back, and when he pulls away, I push back, and it's just so unhealthy. And we do love each other and we do feel like we're in love with each other, but the things that we do with and to each other during those struggles are not healthy. So, and it's funny because when we first separated, I was like, I wouldn't say I was fine with it, but I was handling it pretty well. I just kind of accepted the fact that we were moving on, we were looking for other people and all that, and we were still living together. And then the whole back and forth happened again, and then we were like trying to be together but seeing other people, and then we were just like seeing each other, and then that didn't work out. And then we did 2 weeks where we were supposed to not see each other when we were living apart. And the thing is that when he moved out, I remember I had been planning on blocking him and being like, I need this space away from you for a couple weeks to see how I feel. But then during the 2 weeks, he met someone that he really liked, and I think that threatened me. So I pulled him back and was just like, oh, like, it was really hard for me to let go because to him, the things that she had in common with him weren't easy to find. And because he likes really obscure music, and I'm going to be honest, there were some drugs involved. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but she brought him some drugs and he enjoyed that and thought that was cool. And he just enjoyed the newness of it and how he felt. And I'm not gonna lie, there's someone else that I had feelings for at that time, and I was willing to choose Kyle over that person. And that might sound really messed up, but he convinced me that he was worth it. Like, when he is pushing or pulling me back or whatever, like, he tries his best to sound convincing, to convince me to want to be with him, to convince me that he's the person I should be with. And he acts so needy and but loving at the same time, and tells me all these like good things about myself. But then as soon as the time comes for us to be together, he always does the same thing. He becomes avoidant, which actually is his coping style. He has avoidant tendencies, which is very unfortunate because they're very hurtful. And if I cry during this video, I'm not going to apologize for it, but I'm just warning you, because like the things he says when he's being avoidant, like, they're just extremely hurtful. And I don't think that he's a bad person. But when I think of the things that he has said, it hurts. I don't want to believe them. I don't want to believe that he really feels about me that way. But the whole idea of it is to push people away and, have time to think and reflect. And he thinks that unless he pushes me away in the most hurtful way possible, that he can't get that space that he needs. So if I'm pushing back and he's trying to pull away, he's just going to keep getting more and more severe. Like, he doesn't just go, oh, maybe I should think about what she's saying. He just like becomes meaner and meaner until I'm like, okay, you broke me. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to push you anymore. And that's hard. Throughout our whole relationship, it's been off and on like that. He hasn't gotten, therapy for that issue, and we were thinking about him getting therapy now, and he's been to like maybe 2 sessions, which of course isn't going to help that much right now. because he's not really working on the other things, and he's being very codependent. I can be very codependent too. And, you know, I put everything I had into this last week, and I was excited to be back together with him and work on things. And he had said that over the 2 weeks, the last 3 days, he had been wanting to be alone, and I think it was to like self-reflect or feel like he has to pull away because he's scared of being committed to me, because that means he couldn't be with anyone else, or he just like is a commitment phobe. And like I think when he separates from me, it's so frustrating is that like 3 days later or however long later, he'll be like, oh, I completely made a mistake, I need you, I love you, I want to be with you. And it's just like clockwork. It happens every time. And this time I said no. I blocked him on everything. Haven't talked to him since Saturday when it happened. And I'm just done. I'm done dealing with it. Like, if he wants to go be with somebody else that he thinks is better for him, so be it. You know, I was the best that I could be. I would sit through those times where he would say the cruelest things to me, and I would say, well, you know what, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I love you, and I care about you, and I know this isn't you. And I don't think anybody understands how hard it is to do that. When someone you love is just, you know, saying so many unkind things, you know, to just sit there and be like, this isn't the person I truly love. This is them just lashing out. This is them just protecting themselves. But I've worked so hard to be that person for him that accepts him and loves him and shows him that he can be strong and he can get through things and he can be with me. And just being told that he couldn't be with me because he feels he can find someone better for him out there is a hard pill to swallow when I just want to work on our relationship and get through it, and he's just like not committed whatsoever to me or the relationship, and he's not thinking about our family or, you know, even just his son and how he's dealing with this. He's not making the sacrifices he needs to take in order to be what he needs to be for our family. And at this point, I can't keep fighting. You know, I'm hurting myself over and over again and creating this trauma bond between him and me where he just like the cycle keeps happening because it becomes easier and easier for him to do it because I'm letting him. I'm not saying, no, I'm not going to be with you if you keep doing this. I'm saying, I'm going to be with you by your side no matter how bad you treat me. And that's not true. I'm not going to do that because that's not fixing the problem. Standing up for myself and saying, I'm not going to take this, and I love you, but you are not helping me in the way that a partner or even a friend should. You know, I considered him my best friend for the longest time, my favorite person, and when I think about it, more often he was not my best friend and showed those characteristics more so than he was a friend to me. Like, how sad is that? Like, through our whole relationship, like, why am I holding on to it so bad? It's just like, gives me like breadcrumbs and gives me that hope that like, oh, I got a little bit of something, I got a little taste of like what it could be, so maybe it could eventually grow into something better. But it's just manipulation, and it's just like, I'm not saying he does it on purpose, but like it's just manipulation and the promise of something that's never gonna come. And I need to accept that. I need to, but it's so painful, you guys. Like, I'm taking it day by day, and for a couple of days that was good. I was fine. My friend had come over and made me feel a lot better, and it made me feel really good to feel like I had someone that I could be vulnerable with and feel loved and appreciated and cared for, and that really like lifted my spirits, because who gets that? Like, I'm so lucky that I have that in someone other than Kyle, you know? And to have that person there was just so important and special to me, and I will never let that person go. They're a very close friend of mine, and I just appreciate them so much for everything they do for me. Like, I was honestly like midnight, and I called them and I was just like, can you come over? Like, I'm having the worst time right now, and I just need a friend. And they were over as soon as they could, and that's more than I could ever ask for. But yeah, so that's my life right now, and it's hard because I love Jack to pieces, and he knows that. But seeing him as often as I do is, as much as I love him and love spending time with him, when I do see him, even now, there's that like twinge of pain in my heart and my chest, because our family is gone. I'm sorry. I just don't know why. And I don't need to know why. I know, but I just, at this point, I don't think we're getting it back. Like, I can't ever trust him to do what he needs to do. I can't trust that he'll stick to anything he says. Like, even if he promises that he'll actually go through with it, like, I just have to accept that our family is, broken right now, and I don't know when it's going to get better. I don't want to see Kyle right now. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to look at him. I don't want to anything him, and that's just how I feel, because I can't, like, with these types of people, like, I don't know if you know anything about avoidance, but the only thing that you can really do is go no contact with them, because they'll keep doing this whole push and pull thing where they want you, and then a week goes by and they don't, and they push you away, and then they want you and they don't, and then they want you and they don't, and I can't play this game. I can't. This is my life. Like, this is my life. Like, I can't be roped into these things that take away my peace, that take away parts of myself that I need. I need for someone that actually knows they want to be with me 100% and wants to try for me 100%, that if we're going through things, that they'll be like, hey, let's do therapy, let's work on this. Like, I'll do therapy, you'll do therapy, we'll do couples therapy, we'll do everything we can to fix this, because I love you. And even though I know throughout, like, our relationship things will change or you will change, I'm changing with you, because you are a partner that I choose. And I think that was the worst part, is that Kyle told me that he would choose me over anyone else, and instead he said he couldn't choose me, and that he had to choose the idea of someone better for him over me. And that's, what he chose, even though he said that he didn't know how much more, like, percentile wise, like, he wanted to be with me, and like, or he wanted to find another person. He, chose, to look for another person, even though he was like 50-50. And, that hurts that he doesn't choose me and I chose him. And he made that decision to let me go. And I don't know if he knew I was going to block him and not talk to him for however long. I don't know. It could be like months. It could be a year. It could be 2 weeks. I don't know. But I'm heartbroken for my family. Like, not so much for me. Yeah, it hurts that happened and that things were said that can't be taken back. But mostly I hurt for Jack. And I just want to be there for him during all this, because like, I would have gladly worked on our relationship so we could still be a family. And I feel like Kyle's not thinking of everyone in this situation. He's not thinking of me. He's not thinking of Jack. He's just thinking of himself. And maybe that makes him sound like a bad person, but he's going through something right now. I don't know what, but has caused him to be like very selfish and very one-sided with things, and just very like, this is what I want, this is what I need, very me. And I think it's because for so long he felt like he had to live for other people, or he couldn't say what he needed. He just now is completely focused on himself and doesn't have like the middle ground where he's like, equally for himself and equally for other people. He just like skyrocketed into focusing on himself. And you can't do that when you have a child. You can't do like 60% you and 40% them. Like, it needs to be more than that. And it's not fair to Jack. And I love them both, and I wish I could be there to help Kyle through this and push him to be a better person, but he's got to choose to do that for himself. I can't make him, and especially if he keeps pushing me away the way he is. And like I said, none of this is to make Kyle sound like a bad person. It's his struggle, it's his trauma, it's his past. Whatever it is, it's getting to him, and it's creating this person that is not ideal, for himself or even really anybody. And he has to figure it out. He has to figure out what he's lost and what he is doing in order to, do better, to get better. And he just lost that privilege with me to be able to push through it and help him get to where he needs to be. Anyways, that's where I'm at, and I think I'm going to attach something I wrote about Kyle to this, and you can listen if you want, and if you don't want to, that's fine too. It's just my thoughts and feelings around it, and what I thought the first or second day it happened. So, make of it what you will. I love you guys, and I know I haven't been back in a while, but I'm trying so hard to be back now because I need you guys more than ever, and I know that you've missed me, and I've been terrible at getting on and gaming and talking and everything, and I'm so sorry. It's been the worst 3 months of my life, and I just want to get back to who I am and what I love, and it's definitely you guys. So I'll see you soon, and I love you to pieces, okay? Have a good night. Bye. It's not the why, it's the how. How can he keep repeating this cycle over and over again without gaining a single ounce of self-awareness? How is he so lost in himself that he can't even begin to comprehend how his words pain and agonize me, or to disassociate and not allow me to bring him back? I beg and I beg, trying to keep him from destroying what we have and could have, but he only pushes harder, harder to get away, harder to escape the feelings of others, destined to be alone until he realizes he wants something more. It's not my want or responsibility to save him from himself. He has to learn the hard way, and we both need to accept that. He knows he'll regret it, but he fights for it because his avoidance is so strong that it speaks for him. It overwhelms him in a way that it's all he can think or feel. Either way, if I had told him to think about it for a few days, it would have ended the same. He would let it overtake him, and in the end hurt me the same. I send him things to help him see these sides of himself and push through the confusion and negative thoughts. But only in that moment is he aware. In the thick of it, he has no idea that a darkness has come over him, so dark that he becomes almost robotic, cold with his words. After all this, no, I don't hate him. I don't like him and wish he could do better for himself, but hate is too strong of a word. I feel sorry for him. Destined to push those away that lift him up, help him become a better person for fear of losing himself, the comfort of his avoidant tendencies, and freedom. I feel scared, not of losing him, but I'm so terrified of what is out there, having to search for another soul to share my life with, dealing with their issues and erratic tendencies. I feel hopeless. At least I knew how to deal with Kyle. I don't know or really want to deal with these other people. I had hoped therapy would help, and maybe it will, but it takes time to really see the error of one's ways. We were going to do a therapy session with my therapist, but that's obviously over now. The only reason I would do that would be for closure, but what closure could I possibly gain from that? Just more hurt and lies. I guess I shouldn't call them lies. They're the truth, but in the moments of his avoidant behavior, he can't accept or see that. Imagine living like that, constantly not knowing yourself and making decisions based on fear. What a miserable life. I would never wish that on anyone. The incredible thing is that I know him better than he knows himself, but he doesn't trust me in the moment or care. He honestly repeats the same excuses, the same hurtful expressions, continuing to both crush and push me away. Who in their right mind would be able to not fall apart when hearing such mind-numbing disdain and spiteful phrases? I can't always sit there and take it. I can't just say, "But I love you despite all that. I know you're scared, but you don't have to do this." I'll be honest, I have before, but this outburst came completely from left field. I had no planning or warning whatsoever, but again, it is not my responsibility to fix him or accept these hurtful outbursts. I thought he was worth it, but my self-respect and self-love are not things I'm willing to continuously give up for him. He needs to be alone. Maybe he always has. If he finds someone who wants the bare minimum or less out there, great. If not, I guess he'll just be alone forever, and maybe he'll even like it that way. But all I know is that I'm done. I'm an amazing, loyal, dedicated, and respectful partner, and don't deserve the bare minimum or less. I'm deserving of far more, and always will be.